This morning, the New England Patriots made it official, releasing Cam Newton out into the wild to become a free agent. Once again, he got paid a $2 million signing bonus, a $1.5 million salary. That money will get handled however it does. Cam's going to make $1.5 to $2 million this year, whatever the case. But what this means is Mac Jones.
Who?
Mac Jones.
Who?
Mac Jones.
Who?
Is your starter in New England, and Boston Connor has been eagerly awaiting this day ever since we saw his Joker walk to the stage after being drafted at pick 15 by the New England Patriots. Mac Jones is your starter, Connor. It looks like you are absolutely pumped. Anything to say to Cam Newton, who won the battle with your terrible roster last year, did not do great. Now you guys spend $150 million on weapons for this team. And Mac Jones, the rookie quarterback who has been an absolute sensation, not only on the internet, on the practice field, in the locker room, but all over the world. How do you feel this morning, Connor? You're pumped.
One pinky, one finger, one thumb to Cam Newton-Bledsoe. And we've been looking for this for quite some time, Pat, because Cam filled that role. He went 7-9 with a team that probably should have gone 1-15, and thank God he went 7-9 because we don't have Trevor Lawrence, we don't have Trey Lance, we don't have Zach Wilson. We got Mac freaking Jones, dude, and he is unbelievable. I think we all saw the writing on the wall after the first preseason game. You said, look at this guy, look how he's commanding the team, look how he's throwing the ball. It looks like he might not stink. You got eviscerated. Turns out, I believe Mac Jones had the highest PFF preseason quarterback rating since Patrick freaking Mahomes.
Wow.
Ever heard of him? So yeah, I am through the roof. I am going to be pretty damn insufferable probably for the next 2 years until Mac is the MVP, and then it'll just get, kind of heightened even more. I mean, Mac Jones, Brady, week 4, now we know. I'm through the roof right now, Pat, absolutely juiced. I don't think anything can bring me down, not even Gilmore being out for 6 weeks, which stinks, but that means he's on the team. Massive win. We're only winning today. It is incredible to be a Patriots fan once again.
Okay, Steph Gilmore is on the PUP, physically unable to perform list, which means he's out for 6 weeks, at least 6 games. If you're on the PUP, you see people get activated off the PUP list, and then that becomes a big storyline. Both Steph Gilmore and David Bakhtiari of the Green Bay Packers are 2 players that are of great significance that are currently on the PUP list and out for at least 6 weeks. But let's get back to the New England Patriots. Whenever you talk about about Mac Jones, okay, you have to at least have the conversation that for 5 days, the New England Patriots were able to see what the team would look like if Mac Jones was your starter. And I'm not just talking about on the practice field where he sliced and diced the Giants and Joe Judge had to stare at his team and say, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing while this guy is dicing? But behind the scenes, in the film room, in the team meeting, in the offensive meeting, everywhere, they got to see what it was like without Cam Newton there because of the re-enrollment process, misunderstanding, miscommunication that happened between the Patriots and Cam Newton. That's for another day. We are all the way past that. Mac Jones is now the leader of the New England Patriots. We will talk to Michael Lombardi, former general manager in the NFL, also confidant, I believe, to everybody in the New England Patriots organization. Yep. We'll ask him about what those 5 days were like for Cam, for Mac, for the Patriots. And if you watch that offense with Mac Jones in it, and it is exactly what I tweeted after the first night. Yeah. It looks exactly like, not exactly like, because Tom Brady is incredibly handsome, obviously. Sure. And everything like that. But that offense looked very, very, very similar to the offense that we saw win for a long, long time, 20-plus years. They cut Cam because he was playing a much different style of quarterback. They're going all in. Hoyer is the blueprint for Mac if Mac has any questions. I would assume that this is exactly how the New England Patriots fans hope this would turn out, even though they appreciate Cam Newton. But getting back to some comfort level, drop back quarterback. Yes. Seems like a guy who's fiery, runs around, throws the ball all over the yard. McDaniels can draw up these plays. They got a bunch of weapons. They spent a lot of money on that. it does feel as if the New England Patriots are all the way back just in this one move. And we didn't know if they were going to have Cam start for a few weeks, let Mac Jones watch Cam as a starter, see how he handles himself, whether it's with the media or the locker room or the team and everything like that. But I think that 5-day peak-see at Mac Jones being the starter and Mac rising to the occasion, playing his best football during those times, I assume during the break and the meetings he was performing very well as well. That had to have pushed them to this decision. We'll ask Michael Lombardi about that whenever he joins us here in a few minutes. But this is the type of shit that's going to happen on this Tuesday, August 31st. We're going to have a lot of news from a lot of different teams on who's potentially going to be on the roster and who's not going to be on the roster. Well, we have to remember, okay, and I had to learn this the hard way. Whenever it's cut day, and then it's obviously, if you look at the glass half full, it's make team day too.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I don't want to call this massacre week, because although a lot of people are getting cut, this is also a lot of dreams coming true. A lot of people making NFL rosters. But even more so now with the extra week that all these teams are going to have, if I am a bottom half of the roster guy right now, okay, if I'm their family, if I'm their friend, you cannot celebrate until that first check clears. There's going to be a lot more moves made. Teams are going to get down to 53 by 4 o'clock today. Look for a lot more moves to continue to be made. Might not be with like big name players and household name players, but these rosters are going to continue to evolve over the next couple weeks here before the first season, and it will through the entire regular season. But this is a wild time. It's very different now. Teams are practicing, then they'll have 4 days off this weekend, aside from the Buccaneers and the Cowboys who have to play that first week. I believe they're off right now, and then they're practicing later in the week. But with the teams that are practicing right now, and they're getting their rosters down, then they'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Then they're back Monday for the first week. Look for a lot of those teams to potentially watch film on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the team that they put together here for Monday through Wednesday. Look for a lot more moves to be made over the weekend as well. It's an exciting time. The NFL season's right around the corner, and rosters are being made. At Tone Diggs, your thoughts on what's going on around the NFL? Hammered down, pal?
Hammered down wise, Mac Jones went from plus 900 to plus 450 to win Rookie of the Year this morning. Unfortunately, I didn't jump on it quick enough before it made the move. Probably should have been on it earlier, but he is second behind Trevor Lawrence, who's plus 400 now. Huge move for Mac Jones this morning to win Rookie of the Year.
I said that 5 days where Cam Newton wasn't able to be in the building because of the re-entry process with the entire COVID rules was a great time for Bill, McDaniels, everybody to see the world if Mac Jones was their starter. That's team meetings, that's cafeteria, that's offensive meetings, that's practice, that's everything. Was I getting an accurate read on that? And is that what you heard as well? Like, hey, when we got a chance to see Mac because we were forced to not be able to see Cam, he rose to the occasion, or is this just something that has kind of been brewing all along?
I think it's been organic, but I think you're right. I mean, look, let's face it. Cam is a natural-born leader, and so is Mac Jones. But Mac's ability to win over his teammates, Mac's ability to resonate, you never make a quarterback shift this dramatic unless the team really believes in the guy that you go with. This is not Belichick making a decision or Josh McDaniels. This is the team season, and you can't fool the team. You can't fool the team. The team knows who the best players are. They know who should be playing quarterback, particularly, because they're at every practice. They watch every throw. They see the team being led. So this was a situation where it became crystal clear and obvious, particularly after the 5 days against the Giants where he was really good, and then in the preseason game against the Giants where he was really good, that Belichick was probably forced to make a decision. And I've said this before, Pat. Everybody thinks it's either A or B. And Belichick is always about second-order thinking, how he will process. What happens if I make this decision? Then what's the cause of that decision? And for me, what he did was he said, look, Cam Newton's a better backup than Brian Hoyer. No one's going to argue that. Cam's a better player than Brian Hoyer. But it's hard to take a four-star general and make him a corporal. It's hard in the same locker room. You're going to have, they had to move Patton over to the Third Army once they didn't give him promotions, right? So it's hard to take that general and demote him and put him in as a backup role. He loses his effect. He loses his luster within the locker room. And I think in the best interest of their total team, Cam would have been a better backup, but not in this situation.
Well, and Cam plays much different than Mac. I think we're talking to Michael Lombardi, former general manager and two-time Super Bowl ring winner with the New England Patriots. Can't thank you enough for joining us. Do you think the plan all along was if Mac does well, he'll be the starter day one, or do you think the plan was he'll watch Cam, just like all these other rookie starting quarterback competitions? I've always said that there is a great benefit to young quarterbacks getting to watch older quarterbacks operate, how they maybe talk to the GM, how they talk to the coaching staff, how they talk to the media, their teammates, everything like that. Do you think that Mac just surprised him so much that he was forced to make this decision like you alluded to? Was he planning on Cam starting here and Mac kind of filling in, do you think? Or how do you think he saw this playing out versus how it actually did here?
Well, I mean, the first thing he does before the training, but when everybody comes together for the minicamp, is he tells the team the best players are going to play. It doesn't matter where you get drafted. It matters how you play. And if that's your philosophy, if that's your true belief, you've got to stay true to it. Did he think that Mac would come along this quickly? Obviously, I don't think that's true. I think he felt like Cam could get him through. Now, I do know that in 2022, they felt really good that Mac Jones would be the starter based on what they saw. But this kid kind of has developed. And this is why I kind of thought that Mac Jones would have been the third pick over Trey Lance, because he was ready to play for Sanford. I thought he was more ready to play than anybody in the draft. And he fit what Kyle did. And then he slips to 15 and the Patriots get lucky. So I do think they moved quicker than I anticipated. I don't think they wanted to do this. They guaranteed $3.5 million to Cam. But they had to make this decision because this is basically the best player won the job.
Okay, so let's talk about Cam a little bit here before Connor's going to have to ask you probably 100 questions. He is ecstatic. I assume Bill knows that all of New England's excited about Mac Jones in the future because it looks a lot more like the Tom Brady offense than the Cam does. Whether there's nothing, it looks similar to the 20 years of dominance whenever Mac's on the field. I mean, that is, you can see why fans easily go, oh, we've had some of the best nights of our fucking life because of an offense that looks like that. You can see why the fans kind of bought in on that. For Cam, and this was being reported by Colin Cowherd, I believe, who I have a lot of respect for. He said that there is, his source told him that Cam not being vaccinated and then the COVID situation happening and him being out, they viewed him as non-reliable and something else. And then this obviously is leading into a much larger story of, will any other team sign Cam, knowing what's going on with the entire protocol and vaccination process and everything like that? Did any of that play into this, you think, whenever the decision was made, or is this a football thing only? But the vaccination status, if you're missing games, that also is football-related stuff as well. Do you think that played into this at all?
Well, I think it's unfair to call Cam unreliable. I mean, he's the first guy in the building. And he was the last guy to leave. I think, him not getting a vaccination is certainly problematic. I don't think you could dispute that. But he's not an unreliable person. I think the misunderstanding, he went and took a test from a non-certified COVID person. He didn't violate team rules or was unreliable. The perception of Cam by the media and the reality of Cam in that building are way two different things. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's well-loved, respected, works hard. Yes, he dresses in crazy outfits, that I couldn't pull off and he could. But there's no off-the-field issues with Cam when it comes to that. But I do think there is a problem with the unvaccination. I do think that creates some problem. But I think at the end of the day, this is about taking a four-star general and making him now a master sergeant and trying to keep him in the same room.